Hey everybody, thanks for watching. Hit the bell, subscribe. We have new content coming out daily. Make sure you subscribe. God bless you guys. Are the investments being made in 2024? What do you see from the RNC perspective? Yep. This primary is going to be $1 billion primary. We haven't had you on for a little bit. What's going on?
Yeah, I mean, look, right now, kind of if we wanted just to lay out where we're at in the conservative movement, is that you have billions of dollars are going to be spent on presidential campaigns. Well over $1 billion, right? So easily. On presidential campaigns alone, right? There's very little money that's being invested into infrastructure. And the left is doing the opposite. So the left is spending all of its money on infrastructure and very little money on campaigns. In fact, it's been noted, where's Joe Biden and the DNC on his campaign for president?
Yeah, there was an article yesterday about this.
Zero, right? So
he's outsourcing it to major super PACs.
They're focused on infrastructure, right? So all the PACs, all the C4s, all the soft money that exists in the left is doing this. And so this is really the quandary of the conservative movement for the future and moving forward, is understanding that the DNC has been subjugated to this infrastructure bill that they've built over the last 20 years on the left. And on our side, when are we going to start doing that? Is it going to be 4 years from now? Is it going to be today? And
if ever. If ever.
Well, I mean, we're doing it, right? So we're spreading the gospel, which is like, hey, this is what you have to do in order to win. And in the states that we are, I mean, Turning Point Action is in all the key target states. We have more staff than any C4 that I know of, more than the RNC has. Full-time staff right now in these key target states. So we're talking Arizona, Wisconsin, Georgia, Iowa, Pennsylvania, North Carolina,
Nevada,
Florida, Ohio, Nevada, Pennsylvania. So this is where we're investing into, and we're just one group. There should be 100 of us, right, doing that.
But there isn't. So I just have a couple questions. How many full-time staff does the RNC have in Arizona right now?
Right now, 0. And in fact, we just lost a regional political director who was here based out of Arizona for years. He now just took over as campaign manager for Lauren Boebert's campaign. And they just replaced him with someone that's based out of Dallas, Texas, which I don't think is super helpful to Arizona and our key target states.
So the new regional director is someone from Texas. Nothing wrong with Texas, but it took me 5 years just to figure out the difference between Maricopa and Pinellas.
Yeah, we brought you out here, and you learn quickly, but like you have to be here.
Right, you got to live where actually you're trying to
be here.
So Austin, 0 RNC staffers. If you were to kind of say, okay, there's all these outside groups, hundreds of millions of dollars raised, we can name them. How many full-time staffers does the conservative movement have politically in Arizona?
Look, just Turning Point Action alone, we have, 7, 8 staffers full-time just here in Arizona dedicated alone.
Not including the admins.
But not just the administrative staff here, but our field staff full-time. We do have people that are from the Heritage Actions, some of these other C4, but they have like maybe 1 full-time staffer year-round. That's not enough for battleground states like Arizona, Georgia, and Wisconsin, because what the Democrats and the left has figured out, what Tyler brought up with the mechanics, is that they outsource all of those responsibilities to people, to things that are not parties. They give their voter registration to 501c3s. They give their chase the votes, their get out the vote efforts to the C4s. Yep. And so that's why they have been cleaning our clock in Arizona for a long time. But thankfully at Action, we take it very seriously that we are a year-round operation, 365 days a year. We're registering voters, recruiting precinct committeemen, taking back the infrastructure that is crucial to winning every race up and down the ballot. And so hopefully this is a starting point for other C4s to really watch Action and see how we build things that are significant to winning elections.
Well, and you tweeted about this yesterday, Charlie, and we talked about it. It was America Votes, right? So we talked about America Votes. Actually kind of undersold it. It was terrifying when you said it on your show, but it was actually way worse. And you tweeted out about this yesterday, which is there's groups like America Votes that fund infrastructures of dozens, if not 50 plus, 100 plus organizations in these key target states on the left that have funded hundreds of millions of dollars into specifically ballot chasing and ballot identification. What does that mean? That's get out the vote operations that are focused on the end goal of getting ballots in the door, in the mailbox, into the ballot box. And really, that's the key difference, right? What Austin's saying is like, we're trying to lead by example, right? We feel like we're doing our part. We want to do more. We want to raise money so we can immediately reinvest it into the community with more boots on the ground. But the left has hundreds of people, if not thousands of people in these key target states that are full-time employees. Right. Right now, Turning Point Action is, to my knowledge, what we're doing is the biggest. and we're talking, we only have right now,
7, 8
a
staffers on the
dozen
field.
people in
Field.
Arizona. We want to hire now for the ballot chase. Our goal is to hire hundreds, but it takes that.
So let me ask you, 40 million. If you had if we at Turning Point Action had a $40 million cash infusion, what would that mean?
So it's what we're doing. It's what we're pitching right now, as you know.
I'm asking for a reason because there's a headline. I want to connect the two together.
Right.
So it would be ballot chasers. It would be more voter reg. It would
almost immediately. So the key piece that everyone has to be aware of is the left is investing to full-time people embedded in the community who are identifying voters, registering voters, and then chasing those voters down because they've built relationships with them over not months, not days, not weeks, but years. So in key target communities, they have a person that's assigned to 300 or 400 voters. You may not even realize it, that someone's assigned to you if you're an independent, and they're building a relationship with you as a next door neighbor, and they're influencing your vote. Everything that they're doing is influencing your vote. So that's what we need to be doing. We have to put in the full-time people embedded into these communities. So it's not just for 2 months out of the year or out of the cycle, not a year, but full-time, that people are going, I know your family. You can trust me when I tell you that, Blake Masters is a better option to Mark Kelly.
Right. So I'm just flipping through some stuff here that I think is instructive, right? So Tim Scott's Super PAC is planning a $40 million ad campaign next week.
Waste of money.
And then Ron DeSantis' Super PAC, Never Back Down, is sitting on $147 million.
Which most was transferred from
his state. 83 million was transferred
from the state that was. Again, let me remind everyone here. And again, this isn't. I'm not trying to indict, Ron's team or anyone else's team. This is everybody, right? But $83 million was sitting in the bank following 2022 that they transferred into their PAC. And I don't know if that's the exact number, but it was tens of millions of dollars that were left over from 2022. That would have been really nice capital to use in 2022 to win in some of these places that we barely lost in. And again, I'm not blaming Ron because donors can give to whoever they want to give to, but the donor community and the donor class and our consultants that exist out there have to be smarter. And they have to say, we need to invest in these dollars now where it needs to go in order to win, not let it sit in the bank for the next election cycle.
And we're making some progress at Turning Point Action, but I'll be honest, it's almost like trying to convince a senator that Russia's not our enemy. It's like they just can't process it. They're like, no, Russia's always, I'm like, no, infrastructure in elections matters more than candidate selection. They're like, no, candidate selection is everything. No. And I mean, the Democrats have known this, and this is why I'm very blunt. I said it from stage. We're on pace to lose in 2024 unless something dramatically changes. Is that an unfair thing to say, Tyler? Not trying to be negative. I'm trying.
No, I mean, the gospel that we're preaching right now is that we have to be smart with every dollar that's spent, and it has to go into infrastructure. And those boxes have to be checked first before we get to the candidate box.